distance from it to his head. So from that we can estimate very loosely his height. I think I can give you a picture.
Assuming this is the Unsub.
We went up there expecting nothing.
Remember 1989? You know, when Seinfeld was still a Thursday night afterthought, The Simpsons premiered to confused executives and network suits were convinced they could turn literally anything into must-see TV. But not every show was destined to become a classic. Some were spectacular disasters, to put it bluntly. Sure, we had Cheers and Roseanne dominating the ratings, but we also got Ellen DeGeneres selling houses, James Avery spinning records before becoming Uncle Phil, and a medical show so offensive it triggered a national boycott from actual nurses. Some shows died quietly after 5 episodes. Others lasted just long enough to embarrass everyone involved, and a few featured future stars in roles they probably wished we'd all forget. Today, we're counting down 10 forgotten TV shows from 1989 that came and went faster than a new Coke commercial. But first, be sure to subscribe and share this with a friend who also loves retro TV. It really does help our channel grow. Now, let's get into the countdown with number 10, Open House, Fox.
Give my baby a ride to get you the lowest rate in town with no money down.
Picture this, it's 1989 and Fox executives are panicking. They're the scrappy fourth network trying to convince America they're legitimate and their brilliant idea was a sitcom about real estate agents. Because nothing says appointment television like watching people argue about square footage. Open House starred Alison LaPlaca as Linda Phillips, a cutthroat Los Angeles realtor navigating the high-stakes world of showing people where the bathroom is. But here's the kicker, the show's secretary was played by a young comedian named Ellen DeGeneres, years before she became the queen of daytime TV.
I make the messages up. Scott must sell the ranch. Ron keeps falling off the horse.
The timing was absolutely brutal. Fox was desperately trying to establish Sunday nights against CBS's Murder, She Wrote and NBC's Magical World of Disney. Viewers had a choice. Watch Angela Lansbury solve murders or Ellen crack jokes about escrow. Guess which one won? The real tragedy was Ellen's performance was actually the show's highlight, showcasing the natural charm that would make her a household name. But in 1989, she was just the quirky sidekick in a show about an industry most people only dealt with once a decade. Open House lasted exactly 1 season, 22 episodes of Fox learning that real estate comedy was about as appealing as a timeshare presentation. Ellen obviously conquered the world, while LaPlaca disappeared into guest spot purgatory. Sometimes getting canceled early is the best thing that can happen to your career. Number 9, FM, NBC.
The Senate is voting today on the president's latest nominee for Secretary of the...
NBC executives had a revelation. You know what's missing from television? The behind-the-scenes glamour of public radio. Yeah, someone actually greenlit a workplace comedy about the exciting world of NPR. FM starred Robert Hayes, still riding the airplane wave as Ted Costas, a program director at Washington, D.C.'s smallest public radio station. His supporting cast was Patricia Richardson, 3 years before Home Improvement made her America's favorite tool-time wife, and James Avery before he became all of our Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince. The problem was, FM couldn't decide if it wanted to be WKRP in Cincinnati or Cheers. The radio setting promised music industry hijinks but delivered office politics and relationship drama. Even the title was confusing. Was it about radio frequencies or female-male relationships? The creators literally couldn't make up their minds.
Do you really think that it is a good idea to have your chickie babies undressing in front of our daughter?
Hey, wait, just a minute. Now, in the first place, Jody is not a chickie baby. She's a lawyer with the government and pretty darn respected in her field.
Then came the scheduling disaster. NBC aired 5 episodes as a summer replacement, then brought it back for 8 more episodes as a mid-season replacement. By the time viewers figured out what night it was on, the show was already dead. The series died in June of 1990, proving that even airplane charm couldn't make public radio appointment television. Though, honestly, the show was probably 30 years ahead of its time. In the podcast era, a workplace comedy about audio content might actually work. James Avery parlayed his failure into the role of a lifetime as the Banks family patriarch, because sometimes you have to bomb in radio to succeed in Bel Air. Number 8, Sister Kate, NBC. Sister Kate was NBC's attempt to create wholesome family entertainment by asking, what if we put a British soap opera star in a nun's habit and surrounded her with troubled orphans? The answer, apparently, was cancel it after 19 episodes.
Who are you?
I'm a nun. Who are you?
I'm Violet, and this is Neville. We're orphans.
That's what I was afraid of.
Wow!
Stephanie Beacham, fresh off the Colbys, played Sister Kate Lambert, managing a Chicago orphanage full of kids who needed both guidance and better dialogue. The show had all the ingredients for success: a talented lead, cute kids, and moral lessons perfect for 1989's family values moment.
Yes, dear.
I remember once Father Thomas hit his thumb with a hammer, and he said a really bad word.
Do you recall what it was?
Huh?
Good. Then you can say it for me.
Hey, no. How do I look?
Like a Rastafarian Pee Wee Herman.
But NBC made a fatal scheduling mistake. They dumped Sister Kate on Sunday nights, where it faced CBS's Murderer's Row of 60 Minutes and Murder, She Wrote. Families had a choice: watch a nun teach kids about sharing, or watch Angela Lansbury solve crimes. It was no contest. The bigger problem was by 1989, audiences were getting sophisticated. The Cosby Show had proven you can tackle serious issues with humor. Sister Kate felt like a throwback to an earlier, more innocent era of television, which made it feel dated before it even premiered. After 19 episodes, NBC sent Sister Kate packing, proving that even divine intervention couldn't save a show in the wrong time slot. The real miracle would have been if it had survived. Number 7, The People Next Door, CBS.
Well, what you get and what you see, when everything you touch has personality.
Here's a sentence that should have been a red flag. Wes Craven is creating a family sitcom. Yeah, the man who gave us Freddy Krueger decided to try his hand at wholesome entertainment, and the result was The People Next Door, a show so weird that it made Nightmare on Elm Street seem logical. Jeffrey Jones, yes, the creepy principal from Ferris Bueller and dad on Beetlejuice, played Walter Kellogg, a suburban dad whose imagination literally came to life. Dead relatives crashed dinner parties, household appliances developed personalities, and viewers developed headaches trying to follow the plot. The genius casting choice was bringing in Mary Gross, who was in just about every 80s movie that we all loved, from Big Business, Feds, Baby Boom, you name it. Leslie Jordan, years before Will and Grace, and Christina Pickles before Friends and Mad Men. So there was actual talent buried in this insanity.
Didn't get any mail today, but I still wanted to drop by and say, hi.
Walter, this is Truman.
Truman Phipps, with an F, not a PH. And oh my goodness, it is so good to meet you. I read those cartoons of yours every single day.
But nobody, not the writers, the network, or the audience, could figure out what genre this was supposed to be. Was it a family sitcom, a surreal comedy, a psychological horror maybe? It was like Bewitched directed by David Lynch, but without the charm or the coherent nightmare logic.
What's your problem?
You gave him a better wall. He has a view.
It's a wall. A wall is a wall.
A wall is not a wall, and you're not a moose.
Liar.
Charlatan.
Dad, how are we going to keep your secret a secret if you keep letting your imagination get out?
Imagination.
CBS canceled The People Next Door after just 5 episodes, making it one of the fastest cancellations in network history. Even Wes Craven admitted defeat and went back to making actual nightmares, which were apparently easier to understand than this suburban hellscape. Lesson learned: horror masters should probably stick to horror, leave the family comedy to people who don't specialize in psychological trauma. Number 6, The Nuthouse, NBC. When Mel Brooks and two comedy legends decide to make a sitcom, you expect magic. Instead, The Nuthouse delivered one of the most painful wastes of talent in television history. Harvey Korman and Cloris Leachman, two masters with combined decades of Carol Burnett show brilliance, starred as staff at a rundown New York hotel. On paper, it was Fawlty Towers with American comedy royalty. In reality, it was pratfalls and shouting matches that made you wonder if everyone involved owed someone money.
Had a meeting with the chambermaid. Good, Dennis, thank you. That's better. Now, go tell Mrs. Nutt I'm on my way. Just go, Dennis.
Lobby! Watch your step.
Here's what went wrong. Brooks's signature rapid-fire zaniness felt completely dated by 1989. Audiences who had embraced Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles in the 70s now wanted subtler humor from shows like Cheers and The Golden Girls. Loud wasn't funny anymore. It was just loud. The brutal truth was that watching Korman and Leachman struggle with this material was like watching Mickey Mantle strike out in slow motion. These were comedy giants reduced to slipping on banana peels and yelling at each other.
Miss Frick?
Yeah.
Come with me. I smell smoke coming from the records room.
Is it on fire?
Not yet.
NBC premiered the Nuthouse with a 2-hour special, desperately hoping to hook viewers. Instead, they hooked a cancellation notice after 11 episodes. Even with Mel Brooks' name attached, you can't force comedy gold from comedy fool's gold. Now that we're halfway through, let us know in the comments if you remember any of these, especially if you actually watched Open House and lived to tell the tale. Number 5. Brand New Life, NBC. Brand New Life was NBC and Disney's attempt to recreate the Brady Bunch for the post-Reagan era. Rich lawyer marries struggling waitress. Kids clashing over class differences and lessons are learned. It was like they got ideas from each episode from that week's after-school special.
Roger, this is a rocket ship. What's wrong with my old honeybee?
The brakes, the carburetor, the transmission.
Service day, line 2. I've never had a new car.
The premise was Barbara Eden, desperately trying to recapture her I Dream of Jeannie magic, played Barbara McCrae, who marries wealthy attorney Roger Gibbons and attempts to blend their families in his Bel Air mansion. The result was less family sitcom and more anthropologic study of 80s wealth anxiety. The show premiered as a successful TV movie in September of 1989, convincing NBC to order a series. But by moving it to Sunday nights on the magical world of Disney, they essentially signed its death warrant. By 1989, families weren't gathering around the TV for wholesome moral lessons anymore. They were watching America's Funniest Home Videos, laughing at people getting hit in the crotch with baseballs. The culture had moved past earnest family programming toward ironic entertainment. The cast included future stars who were wasted on this vanilla material. Jenny Garth, who was basically testing out her Kelly Taylor before landing Beverly Hills 90210.
I just got the greatest, most incredible news of my entire life. They just announced this year's homecoming court, and I was chosen as one of the 5 princesses.
Oh, Erica, congratulations.
I already asked Trey to escort me, so there's no way
And Allison Sweeney before becoming a soap legend. They just needed to escape Disney's death grip first. Brand New Life lasted 1 season, proving that even Barbara Eden's charm couldn't magic up an audience that had moved on from her brand of entertainment. Number 4. Unsub, NBC. Unsub is the most important show on this list, and the most tragic failure. It literally invented the modern crime procedural and was murdered by its own network before anyone realized what they had. David Soul, trading his Starsky and Hutch muscle car for a lab coat, led a team of FBI profilers who tracked serial killers using psychological analysis and forensic science. Sound familiar? Well, that's because every crime show since 1999 has stolen this exact formula.
Jimmy, you hold the front door. Make sure nobody comes in behind us.
Oh, Wes.
Ah, come on. You know too many of us in there makes for confusion. Let's do it.
But Unsub made a fatal mistake. It was too smart for 1989 audiences. Instead of whodunit, it asked, How Do We Catch Him?, revealing the killer early and focusing on investigative technique. Viewers wanted simple mysteries with clear solutions, not psychological case studies. NBC canceled Unsub after just 8 episodes. 12 years later, CSI would use virtually the same premise and become the most watched show on television, spawning multiple spin-offs and making CBS billions of dollars. If Unsub had premiered in 1999 instead of 1989, we might be talking about the Unsub universe instead of the CSI franchise. Instead, it died because it was a decade ahead of its time. Sometimes being first means being forgotten. Unsub pioneered modern crime television, it just had the misfortune of doing it before audiences were ready. Number 3, The Famous Teddy Z, CBS. The Famous Teddy Z was CBS's attempt to satirize Hollywood, and learned the hard way that America wasn't ready to laugh at the entertainment industry's absurdities. This was 1989, when celebrity culture was still mysterious and glamorous, not the reality show nightmare that it would eventually become. John Cryer, 8 years before 2.5 Men had him swimming in pools of cash like Scrooge McDuck, played Teddy Zachalokis, a mailroom clerk randomly chosen by a Brando-esque actor to become his agent.
In the world wants you to be his agent?
Yes, sir, that's what he said.
That's what he said? The man is unbalanced, one of the biggest psychos in the business, and that's saying something in this business.
The show skewered talent agencies, movie deals, and Hollywood phoniness with surgical precision. Here's the twist that makes this even more painful. Critics really loved The Famous Teddy Z. The pilot drew rave reviews for its sharp writing and insider knowledge. Alex Rocco even won an Emmy for playing veteran agent Al Floss, making this technically an Emmy-winning flop.
The Emmy goes to Alex Rocco, The Famous Teddy Z.
So, what killed it? Well, the show was too inside baseball for mainstream audiences. While critics appreciated jokes about development deals and 3-picture contracts, CBS viewers just wanted to laugh at Murphy Brown or cry at designing women. Hollywood satire was a niche nobody knew existed. The Famous Teddy Z was basically Entourage 15 years early, but without HBO's creative freedom or audience sophistication. It was the right show at the wrong time on the wrong network. CBS pulled the plug after 15 episodes, proving that critical acclaim means nothing if nobody's watching. A lesson that wouldn't be learned again until Arrested Development faced the same fate. Let's not bring that show up though, because we're still not over it. Number 2, A Man Called Hawk, CBS.
Ergo, you tell Belson Sergeant to stay off me. Us paranoids get real jump.
A Man Called Hawk should have been a slam dunk. Take Avery Brooks, the coolest character from Spencer for Hire, give him his own show, and watch the ratings soar. Instead, CBS created the most stylish failure in television history, a show too sophisticated for its own good. Brooks reprised his role as Hawk, the enigmatic enforcer who solved crimes in Washington, D.C., while dispensing philosophy and looking impossibly cool in sunglasses. The show had everything: jazz-influenced music, noir-style cinematography, and guest stars who would become legends: Angela Bassett, Wesley Snipes, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Hi there.
Bailey Webster, what's going on?
I've known you since I was 6 years old, and it's always been Bailey Webster. What's going on?
So, what is?
But CBS made a fatal scheduling mistake. They buried Hawk on Saturday nights, television's notorious graveyard shift. While the show was busy being art, audiences were out living their lives. Saturday night in 1989 meant dates, parties, and anything but watching prestige television. The deeper problem was that A Man Called Hawk was essentially HBO quality television on a network that couldn't market sophistication. It was like making The Wire 20 years early, but without the platform to appreciate what it was trying to do. Despite its style and substance, Hawk lasted just 13 episodes. CBS wanted a simple action show, Brooks delivered a meditation on justice, philosophy, and urban America. The network got exactly what they didn't know they needed. Brooks would later channel this intensity into Captain Sisko on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, proving that sometimes failure just means you haven't found the right universe yet. Number 1, Nightingales, NBC. Nightingales wasn't just the biggest flop of 1989, it was a cultural disaster that nearly killed the medical drama genre before it could ever get started. This is the show that proved even Aaron Spelling's golden touch could create toxic waste. The premise seemed safe enough. Suzanne Pleshette supervising 5 student nurses living together in Los Angeles, working at Wilshire Memorial Hospital. The cast featured future stars Christy Swanson before Buffy, Roxanne Dawson before Star Trek Voyager, and Chelsea Field, all trying to navigate medicine and melodrama.
You know this, but I'm not doing that well. You can't take a therapist home with you. I don't want to be alone.
I have a date tonight, Becky. It's a black tie thing, all right?
Look, everybody's going to be gone.
Well, Chris will be there, won't you, Chris?
Where will Chris be?
Home tonight.
But Nightingales didn't just fail, it ignited a backlash that made national headlines and forced NBC into full damage control. Critics slammed the show for portraying nurses as lusty bimbos who spent more time in their underwear than treating patients. The American Nurses Association launched a letter-writing campaign. Advertisers fled. NBC found itself defending a show that was supposed to honor healthcare workers. The controversy was so intense that it scared networks away from medical dramas for years.
Never let a delivery person enter a patient's room. Anybody know the reason why?
Security? That delivery person could be a reporter scoping on celebrity.
ER wouldn't premiere until 1994, and you can bet NBC executives made sure it treated medical professionals with respect. Here's the ultimate irony, though. Nightingales was trying to be Grey's Anatomy 15 years too early. In 2005, Shonda Rhimes would create a medical drama with attractive doctors having sex and win awards. In 1989, Aaron Spelling created the same show and nearly destroyed his own career. Nightingales lasted 13 episodes before NBC mercifully pulled the plug, but its impact lasted much longer. It proved that even in the anything goes 80s, there were still lines you couldn't cross, especially when organized nurses were watching. 10 shows that proved 1989 was television's year of spectacular miscalculations. Some were ahead of their time, others were behind the times, and a few were just plain out of time. Which of these forgotten disasters do you actually remember? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into TV's greatest failures. Until next time, this is Remember When.